Jared Lintner, Tackle Warehouse Pro, and I'm getting ready to head out to Florida. Thought we'd come out to a little local lake that I grew up fishing. Kind of one last hurrah. It's pre-spawn. The fish should be biting. I'm gonna throw some spinner baits, flip my new pitching jig, and see if we can't catch some fish. One of the best things I've done for years out here is pre-spawn like this. I get on these flats where some of the fish are staging up. Some of them are already way back on this flat, but just cover water with a spinner bait. I'm throwing a revenge spinner bait here. I mean, it's for years and years and years, ever since it came out, it's just become my favorite spinner bait to cover water with. So we're just gonna kind of fish around, maybe throw a jerk bait and a swim bait and see if we can't catch some fish. I think. There's one. Righteous pitching jig. Just pitching those little sticks right there. Some nice fish. I mean, this is pretty much typical. We have a little cold front that just came through, and previously I was catching them on a bigger jig type of thing, big spinner bait, but right now, the conditions are kind of tough, so downsides, went to the righteous pitching jig, got a nice fish. All right, well, we came out of this creek, flipped our way out, caught a couple fish. Came out here, there's a little underwater island, and kind of the breeze is blowing on it. Might eat a spinnerbait pretty good here. A lot of times they'll stage. This is kind of a creek channel, runs out and it flattens out on this left side, and the fish will stage up before they move back into this creek and spawn. So let's see if we could throw a spinnerbait out here and catch a couple. All right, well, we came around. No better fish. We came around that point that I was talking about with the little bit of breeze, and started following the bank up, which leads into the point. Caught this nice little pre-spawn bass. Revenge spinnerbait, white chartreuse, little stained water. You can't go wrong. See if we can't catch some more. One of the most important things I think overall throwing a spinnerbait is either change the direction or change the action of the spinnerbait. A lot of times I see too many people when they're throwing spinnerbaits, they're just throwing it out and winding it straight back in, which sometimes may work, especially if you're burning spinnerbaits, over flats for smallmouth, or bulging spinnerbaits for largemouth. But a lot of times, especially this time of year, I'll get it down in there around the bushes or structure or whatever, and just give the rod a couple quick little pops. And what that does is it changes the motion of the blades, and it'll make those fish react. Because a lot of times they'll look at it and they might not commit to it, but you make those blades jump, and all of a sudden, boom, they're going to eat it just out of reflex. So it's a really good little tip to kind of check out next time you're fishing the spinnerbait. You'll definitely get some more bites than just a slow, steady, straight retrieve. So we're going to turn around. I think there's a nice little edge behind us. Has some real deep water right next to some bushes. So we're going to try throwing maybe a swim bait and pitch a jig around a little bit. Basically what these fish are doing is, like I said, there's a giant flat, and they're going to spawn on this flat out here. And so these fish are all just staged out here, and a lot of like 2 to 3 pounders, and occasionally you catch a big female, but